topic is live, the stage is set. Words like fire you won't forget. Every topic, every thread. Living stories in your head. Turn it up, feel the beat ignite. Conversations flowing bright. In your ears, day or night. This is the sound that feels so right. Mark is life, the stage is set. Words like fire you won't forget. Every topic, every thread. Living stories in your head.
As always, everything we discuss is for entertainment and is speculation. Please like and subscribe, and definitely join our discussion in the comments. If you're ready, let's get into it. Ooh, I just made it back. Welcome back to Typically Unique. I am Kim, and I'm half of Typically Unique. The other half is my husband, Carlos, and he cannot join me on these weekly lives. So I'm here mostly during the week by myself, but welcome, welcome. Hi, Moonlit Baby. Hi, Lori. Merry Christmas, everybody. If you celebrate, happy holidays. Today, I wanted to put together an episode where I do a case comparison, and I did pick a Christmas one. I'm going to put up a warning before I show that story because, trying to mesh true crime and holidays is kind of contradictory because they are definitely not feel-good stories. But we're here to discuss mostly the Idaho 4 case, and I choose cases to compare to the Idaho 4 with some type of topic that is relevant with the Idaho 4. So we'll be getting into that. The topic that's going to be compared today is how law enforcement too quickly can latch onto a narrative and push that narrative. Hey, Lori. Yay, I'm glad. How law enforcement can, latch onto a narrative before they have finished their investigation, before they have all of their evidence collected and discovery, and how that happened in this Christmas case that I'm going to share, and how that's happening in the Idaho 4. And so speaking about discovery, I was looking into the old hearings and just listening to what the defense was saying about their issues with discovery. And I listened to the prosecution respond. And in their response, they mentioned a program that they have. I don't know how much they use it, but they have it. And it's a program where all of their discovery can be easily uploaded into it to eliminate these issues that seem to be going on. In my opinion, I think it would eliminate a lot of issues. So I found some information about that program I'm going to share with you and compare it to what was said. I'll let you hear what I heard in those old court cases. And I found the actual document, the court document. I believe it was a motion in limine, where the defense very clearly had an attachment where they named the people and described what the issues were with discovery. So we're going to look at that too. I have a few lighthearted things to throw in as we go, and I'm going to start with one of them. Hey, Mike. Hi, Buddy Murphy. Hello, everybody. Moonlit Baby, I think I said hello. I hope everybody will hit the like button on your way in, please. And here's my first little holiday funny. I think this one is that one. Where did I put it? Is this it? Nope. Of course. Where did I put it? All right. I think I uploaded it. I did upload it. get us in a little bit of a fun spirit.
None of this garbage. This is Christmas.
There you go. There you go. I don't know about you guys, but it's like the eve of Christmas Eve, and I have a million things to do. So this will be my last solo live until after the new year. I was talking to Carlos, though, about trying to find a time. Maybe Friday might be a good day, the day after Christmas. I haven't talked to him about it yet, though, but we've had some new members join us. So I was talking to him about doing maybe a members only live. So look for that to be coming up. All right, a couple of other Christmassy things. If you stick around to the end, so we're just going to focus on Idaho 4 for this whole episode, but I did wear, just to share a couple things with you, this is my gingerbread sweatshirt. And you guys know that I was a teacher, and on the last day before Christmas break, it's party day. You're just trying to get through the day. And I would make gingerbread houses with every class I had. So at one time I had like 3 classes of like 28 students each. And they would come in for a chunk of time and we would make these gingerbread houses. And it was so fun. And I thought a lot of you have your own little ones at home or grandkids or, just family members. So if you're looking for something to do, I have a quick and easy. This is like the best way to make gingerbread houses using graham crackers. So I'm going to share that at the end. So if you're here for the Idaho 4, that's what we're going to focus on. Once we get into it, just give me a little bit of, I like to talk to you guys and share a little bit at the beginning. I shared before about how we put ornaments on our tree from places that we visited. So I just wanted to share real quick. This is our Lollapalooza ornament. This is their little symbol, their little mascot at Lollapalooza. If you've ever been to Lollapalooza in Chicago, let me know in the chat. I just took down 2 of them real quick to show you. This is our Key West ornament, key lime pie. And Lori had to remind me about this one because I just bought this past fall. Lori's a moderator in here. She said, here it comes. This might be a little disturbing, but hey, true crime. We took a trip to Delphi, Indiana, and explored everywhere. And I have videos of our trip. If you scroll back to when did we go, Lori? Like September? I think it's September or something. And we were leaving and I'm like, I didn't get an ornament. So we stopped at this, one of those gas stations that has a little gift shop. And I could not believe they had this. It says Indiana on it, but it's a bullet. And the reason I got it, because if you follow the Richard Allen case, they tried to say that the bullet casing left at the scene came from his gun. And I think the defense proved it did not come from his gun because they couldn't get it to match without firing it. But this is I haven't even put this on my tree yet, but I will. I'm going to. Yeah, September. There you go. Hey, Kane, did you just get home from working? You're crazy. Hi, Christy. Good to see you. Good to see you. Okay, so let me see if I put my warning in here. I'm still like at the point where I'm having to make things. Oh, I did. So we're gonna listen to a video I made about the Sodder family children that went missing in 1945. And I'll briefly explain what happened to them. It's very basic. There's a lot of details that I'm going to tell you about after the video, but the point gets made at the end about how they did their or how they didn't do their investigation. So, let's put this up first. Okay, some of this content, it involves children and, it's Christmas time and it does talk about a house fire, you guys. So just be warned about that. It's it's not a, feel good kind of story, but all right, we will let me get this lined up. Share. So yeah, 1945 in Fayetteville, West Virginia, I think. Is that where there's a Fayetteville? This one. I need to go back. Okay. There it is. It's 11 minutes. So we'll watch this for 11 minutes. Then we're going to talk about it and then get into some Idaho 4, hopefully maybe a little bit of new information that I have for you about how they collect discovery. I don't want to export. I want this to be full screen. There we go. All right, you can see it. Today, while most people think of Christmas as lights, warmth, and family gathered safely inside, I want to take you back to a Christmas Eve where none of that survived the night. This is the story of the Sodder children, a case that has been labeled a tragedy, explained away as an accident, and quietly closed, despite the fact that 5 children simply vanished without leaving a single physical trace behind. It was Christmas Eve, December 24th, 1945, in Fayetteville, West Virginia. The Sodder family had gone to bed after a long holiday day. George and Jenny Sodder were asleep, as were most of their 10 children. Shortly after midnight, Jenny was awakened by the sound of something hitting the roof, followed by a rolling noise. She dismissed it, thinking little of it. Less than an hour later, she woke again, this time to smoke filling the house. Fire had already taken hold of the home. George and Jenny managed to escape with 4 of their children. 5 others, Maurice, Martha, Louis, Jenny, and Betty, were believed to still be inside. George attempted to rescue them. He ran to grab the ladder he always kept against the house, the same ladder he had used countless times before. It was gone. He tried to drive his truck closer to the house to climb onto the roof, but the truck, which had worked perfectly earlier that day, refused to start. By the time help arrived, the house was completely destroyed. By morning, the fire was out. The home was gone, and according to authorities, 5 children had died in the blaze. That conclusion was reached quickly, comfortably, almost eagerly, because nothing says certainty like deciding 5 children are dead without recovering a single body. No remains were found, not bones, not teeth, not fragments. The official explanation was that the fire burned so intensely that it completely cremated 5 human bodies. This was a small wood-framed house fire, not an industrial incinerator, but that distinction did not seem to trouble anyone involved in closing the case. Fire experts later stated that even the most severe house fires leave remains. Yet here, we're expected to believe that 5 children were reduced to nothing at all. As the Sodders processed what they were being told, details began to surface that made the official story increasingly difficult to accept. The ladder had not burned, it had not collapsed. It was later found discarded down an embankment some distance from the house. The phone line to the home had not burned through in the fire, it had been cut, not damaged, not melted, cut, which is, of course, exactly what faulty wiring tends to do before causing a tragic accident. Then there were witnesses. Multiple people reported seeing the children alive after the fire. A woman claimed she saw several of them looking out of a passing car as it drove away from the area. Another witness said she served the children breakfast at a diner the following morning. These statements were taken, briefly noted, and then quietly ignored. Because once you decide the story is over, additional facts become inconvenient. George Sodder believed the fire was not an accident, and context matters here. He was an Italian immigrant who had openly criticized Benito Mussolini during a time when that opinion was not universally welcomed. He had received threats in the past. He had been warned that his house would be destroyed and that his children would pay the price for his views. Those warnings were documented. They were not considered relevant. In the ashes of the home, George found objects that did not belong there, including a rubber ball and a piece of metal that resembled part of an incendiary device. These findings were dismissed. The fire was officially ruled an accident. The children were officially declared dead, and the case was closed. The Sodders did not accept that. They spent the rest of their lives searching. They erected a billboard along the highway displaying photos of their missing children, not as a publicity stunt, but as a plea. Years passed, decades passed, and then one day the family received an anonymous letter in the mail. Inside was a photograph of a young man who closely resembled their son, Louis. On the back of the photo was a handwritten message identifying him as Louis Sodder, with references to family members and a cryptic string of letters and numbers. No return address, no explanation, no follow-up investigation. George and Jenny died believing that at least some of their children survived that night. They believed the fire was used as a distraction. They believed their children were taken. And here's the part that should stop you cold. The state of West Virginia closed the case without ever proving that the children died. Christmas came and went every year after that. For everyone else, it meant celebration. For the Sodders, it meant absence, empty chairs, faces that never aged in photographs, a holiday forever attached to unanswered questions. This case is not haunting because it is mysterious. It is haunting because it was allowed to be mysterious, because it was easier to declare closure than to admit uncertainty, because 5 children disappeared on Christmas Eve, and the system responded by saying, essentially, trust us, even though we have nothing to show you. And that is why the Sodder children are remembered, not just because they vanished, but because their disappearance exposes how easily truth can be buried when the calendar says everyone would rather go home. For some families, Christmas is not a season, it's a wound. And for the Sodders, it never healed. As we talk about the Sodder children, it's important to understand that this case is not just a historical mystery, it is a lesson. Because while the names change and the decades pass, the patterns do not. And that brings us carefully and intentionally to the Idaho 4 case. In 1945, authorities were under pressure to explain what happened quickly. 5 children missing on Christmas Eve was not a story anyone wanted lingering into the new year. So an explanation was chosen. A fire, an accident, closure without confirmation. The absence of bodies was treated as an inconvenience rather than a problem. And once the narrative was set, everything else had to fit inside it or be ignored. Fast forward nearly 80 years, and we see a modern version of that same pressure in the Idaho 4 case. 4 students murdered in a small college town just weeks before the holidays, with national attention, fear, and outrage accelerating faster than the evidence could be publicly examined. In cases like this, the demand for answers is immediate. The demand for certainty is overwhelming, and the room for doubt becomes very small. When Brian Koberger was arrested, the public narrative solidified almost instantly. For many, the case felt solved the moment a name was announced. And that's not a statement about guilt or innocence. It's a statement about how human psychology works when fear collides with timing, media saturation, and the need for resolution. Once a story takes hold, questioning it becomes uncomfortable. Challenging it becomes suspicious. And waiting for full transparency becomes inconvenient. In the Sodder case, witnesses who claimed to see the children alive after the fire were dismissed because they disrupted the official explanation. In the Idaho 4 case, we've seen how selectively released information, sealed documents, and repeated references to evidence the public cannot evaluate create a similar dynamic. You're asked to trust the process without being allowed to see it. And historically, that has not always aged well. Another parallel lies in assumptions. In 1945, investigators assumed the children were in the house because they were supposed to be. In Idaho, assumptions about timelines, movements, and behavior were formed early and repeated often, even as details shifted. Assumptions hardened quickly when the pressure to reassure the public outweighs the patience required for meticulous investigation. There's also the issue of evidence versus interpretation. In the Sodder case, the absence of remains was explained away rather than interrogated. In modern cases, evidence can exist, but its interpretation is filtered through affidavits, summaries, and headlines rather than full context. And when interpretation becomes louder than verification, mistakes don't just happen, they get defended. What connects these cases is not outcome. Hey, truth and transparency. Hello, hello. Thank you so much. I had so much fun on your show yesterday. Thank you, thank you. I'm finding my little thing here. Thank you. All right, this is almost over, but we're making the point here that the narrative that the prosecution and law enforcement wants to push forward is causing problems, and comparing it to this Sodder case that I just showed. So we're wrapping it up with that point, and then we will talk about it. But risk. The risk of deciding before proving. The risk of closing ranks around a narrative too early. The risk of confusing confidence with correctness. And the greatest risk of all, the belief that once a case feels solved, it no longer needs scrutiny. The Sodder children teach us what happens when questions are treated as nuisances instead of necessities. The Idaho 4 case reminds us in real time why skepticism is not disrespectful and why due process is not a delay tactic. It's a safeguard, because history shows us this clearly. The cases that age the worst are not the ones people questioned too much. They are the ones people stopped questioning too soon. Boom. The cases that people stopped questioning too soon, those are the ones that become the issue. So, yeah, just because I always say, like, just because someone says it with authority doesn't make it true, right? And that's what law enforcement will do with these narratives. Just trust us. Just trust us. We got it handled, right? Acting like the truth is a nuisance, right? Boy, are they finding out about that one with everybody requesting all these with these FOIA requests and everything. And we're not going to back down because until everything makes sense, right? We're verifying and want to know that the investigation was true and correct, and there aren't any issues about who is arrested and in jail. All right. So, what are some of those things that they have a narrative about? And I'm going to drop the link here if anybody wants to come up and discuss these things. Let's see. And again, please hit that like on your way in. I thought it was funny that Kane said that, told me to hit the like on my way in because I was in chat. And Kane, you made me laugh about your live last night. How is that even possible? How do you think like you didn't click the live button? You were just like in the studio. Although you use that crazy OBX stuff, so I don't know how that works. If I said it right. Oh wait, before we do this, so that case, because I only told you like the bare facts. So this was 1945 when that case happened. So their phone wire, the wires were cut, right? So someone from their house, I've heard it was the mom that ran down the road because their houses were spread out. I heard it was a daughter that ran down the road, but they had to run quite a distance to a neighbor's house. When you used phones back then, they still had the operator, like you picked up the phone and talked to the operator, and they had to click into all those boards. Hey there. Can you
Hello,
hear me,
Governor.
Dago? There
How
you
are
are.
ya?
All right. Thanks for hopping up.
Of course, of course.
Just
You
wanted to
on
go
your
over
own.
some of the things that I
You always
left
talk
out
about me.
with this case because it was crazy. The
Absolutely.
the fire department apparently didn't show up till like 8 a.m. the next morning. Like the fire was practically burned out by the time that they showed up because the operators were screwing things up. No one was answering at the fire department. Like it was just everything in that case back then that could have gone wrong went wrong.
Where was this at again, Kim?
It said Fayetteville, West Virginia, I believe.
Okay.
I
wanted
know
to
there's
make
a Fayetteville, North Carolina, but this was not. This said West Virginia. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Yeah, and then to not have the evidence of the bodies in the fire and just try to move on with it. I heard another version or extra details about this, that there was a insurance salesman that had visited them and got mad at them because he spent all this time with them, and then they weren't going to buy the insurance, and so he was basically said what happened was going to happen.
Wow.
And they never looked into it. So yeah.
That's wild. I can't get past the fire department not showing up till the next day. I mean, I get it. Like there's delays when you got volunteer firefighters in small towns, but damn. Usually they bring, unless nobody called it in, but usually they'll pull mutual aid from somewhere,
Well, that's the other suspicious thing, because there were witnesses that there was a guy, I guess, that was driving by and saw it. And I think and he actually went to the fire department. I don't know. It was just a hot mess. Nothing.
It reminds me of Flora. If you remember when I covered Flora in Indiana, it's the same type situation almost with the fire department. It's weird.
Oh, they didn't show up right away?
Well, Flora, I don't know. I thought you were around back then when we covered it, but there's some people in here that know.
Oh,
It's right next to Delphi.
I
Good?
removed you.
So, fine. I'll shut up. You don't have to get rid of me. I'll quit talking.
I clicked the wrong one.
No, I'm
Sorry.
just kidding. Florida Fire Department was 3 blocks, not even 3 full blocks from the house that was on fire. There were these 4 children that passed away in the house, sadly. And the Delphi Fire Department showed up first.
Oh, wow.
A sheriff's deputy drove to the house on fire, realized there's people in it, jumped in his car after trying to get in the house. He couldn't. Drove to the fire department and screamed at them. You could see it on his dash cam. Their house is on fire. There's people in it. Let's go now. He goes back, and Delphi still showed up first.
And
crazy.
isn't it because I do remember the case being covered, the basics of it? Isn't there speculation that
Yes,
because it was about the kids and the reason Delphi showed up is because there might be people from Delphi that wanted to handle it a certain way?
yes, that's part of one of the theories. And the funny thing is one of the people, it's not funny, it's very ironic. One of the people that should have been named in the hearing for the Delphi case lived 8 houses down from the house that burnt down.
Oh, who's that person?
Patrick Westfall.
Okay.
So
Lori, if you're still listening, there's a name, Westfall.
That's why I kind of put it together. I did a show about a year ago. Well, it was about 8-9 months ago that I said there's definitely those 2 are related. And there's another case that I think is connected to those 2 as well. Sorry I didn't want to derail you.
No, you're fine. We're just here to talk about true crime and anything related. That's crazy.
It is crazy.
So I wanted to focus on like these narratives that have been shoved down our throats with Idaho. So, I mean, the very first thing, and I think that's what hooked everybody into this case, was the 8 hours, right? So, and what narrative were we told about that? Oh, they were just sleeping, everybody was sleeping. So I call that a narrative because now we know that's not true.
Not even close.
And I just get so frustrated when people are like, why are you questioning this case? Well, because they lied.
Why aren't you? Right.
They lied. All the victims were sleeping. That's what they told us. They didn't even know what happened to them. I wish it was that way. I wish it would have been that way. And the survivors are sleeping. And then we find out from their text messages and phone calls, unless they're doing that in their sleep.
Yeah, I think the only one sleeping, Kim, was Moscow police. Truly.
Right. Well, and apparently Murphy, because they didn't talk about him barking.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a joke.
So much. So I just made a quick list of all the things that they told us narratives about. So the 8 hours, the whole witness to seeing the perpetrator with the bushy eyebrows and the frozen shock phase. And just to remind us all, these are narratives they fed us.
Yes, ma'am.
And then she didn't even mention bushy eyebrows in her interviews.
Never was talked about. Never. They brought that in.
Yeah, like, and isn't that weird? Like, why was that so important for them?
Because I think that's a good question. Where and why did that get added in? And I think that they saw the pictures on her wall and they were trying to build a description. Okay. And added those 2 things in. And then when they come about, maybe that's why they picked Brian Koberger, because his eyebrows looked bushy to them. Who knows? I mean, I think that's dumb, but with the way everything else has happened, what else makes any sense?
I know. I keep thinking about him, like his facial features. Like if I was going to focus on anything, I think it'd be the nose.
And they didn't talk about any of that until
no.
In fact, she made a statement. It was stated that she said that she did when she didn't recognize him. I think I'd remember a nose like that. But then Bethany comes in her interview and says she did say something about the nose. Where was that? Why wasn't that in the initial description?
She did say that. Yeah. Well, we're going to talk about collecting all this evidence for sure. So also, it seems like they trotted Mabbit out into the public, right? So she could get out there and describe the scene, and it was only the sharp-edged weapon, right? Like that was her narrative.
Yeah.
So we're told that, and then we find out later Kaylee had some different injuries,
Yes, ma'am.
you know, that weren't just made from that. So, and we don't see much about that. I
Right.
don't think as far as an investigation goes, in their reports, them trying to find out what that came from.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
they tried
yes,
to
the whole
run-
incel theory
Yep.
too, someone
Yeah.
said.
Yeah, and then the guy that they have, in my opinion at least, the guy that they have in custody in prison for this now, convicted, is not an incel by any means. In my opinion, at least, I don't see him as an incel.
No. And I know that there was issues about that, some of those traffic stops that in Pullman or wherever he was stopped, that defense was afraid how they were going to the prosecution would use those to portray him. But that seatbelt one, I mean, that just paints him as an honest person.
100%. And they tried to say, I can't remember where it was exactly right now, but when the female police officer pulled him over, and I was in other channels watching, and people are saying, look how he's looking at her. He's thinking about killing her, and he's looking her up and down and undressing her. I'm like, what are you talking about? He's so rude to her. He's so this and controlling. And I'm like, well, what? He was very polite. He asked a question, which I would have done the same. I'd have been probably nastier than he was because of what she was pulling me over for. It's ridiculous. The narrative that they have truly tried to build or did build against him through the entire thing. So
yeah, I'll have to go back and look, because I swear I was reading something or heard somebody talking about when whoever was talking about like the defense witness list and those court exhibit lists and things that came out.
Right.
Didn't it seem like either the professors at WSU, I think that's who they were talking about, it possibly looked like maybe they weren't going to say bad things about Brian.
Right. And
So
nothing that I saw. I think we talked a little bit about this yesterday somewhere. I can't remember. But nothing that I saw was going to, if Brian would have not been fingered as the person that did this, I don't think any of that would have came out. I just don't.
Oh, yeah, it would only because he was the arrested suspect in this, that those things got said.
Yes.
Which I'm sure that happens. Like, we know that in our personal lives, you know, Absolutely. It's like kick them when you're down, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And yes, Kane, I know gremlins kill people. I got you, buddy.
Oh, what are we talking about? What's the Gremlins reference?
We talked about last night when we were talking about different serial killers and stuff. He was like, gremlins kill people too. I said, yes, they do.
You know, aren't they coming out with a new movie about that?
That's what my son told me.
Yeah, I love that movie. I just want to say hello to some people that I missed. Hey, Murky. Hi, Sassy Cassie. Who else
hey, guys.
George Stewart. Hello, Beach Babe.
Good to see you, Murky.
Boy. Dig the Past, 252.
William Tardy.
That name, Dig the Past.
I've never seen that one before.
Yeah.
You guys better hit that like button.
Welcome in. All right. We're at 99 people, almost 100. All right.
And 36 likes. What are you guys doing? Come on now.
Hey, please take a moment and go hit that like button for me. It really does matter, you guys. It matters with the analytics, and we appreciate it so much. Thank you.
Take the likes you were going to give me today and give them to her, please.
If you like it.
I'll even get down if that'll help.
Did you ever, because I want to talk about the narrative with the DNA.
Mm-hmm.
That's the big one, right? And I went back. I probably waited too much till the last minute. I wanted to find, because my memory is some of the court hearings talking about DNA. The narrative was the button snap, we spent like a whole year talking about brass and how long the evidence could, it degrades it quicker,
Yep.
and wasted time.
It was completely, yeah. Yeah,
Where
because
did
I
that
think we
come
got
from?
back. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say when we got the reports on this, it wasn't even on Snap where they got the sample from. It was the strap, not the snap. So,
Right. And so, like, I'm like, who put that out there?
that's a great question.
What we can see all the forensic reports about the DNA, like what the item is, what they tested, was it positive for blood, did they take it through DNA,
Right.
and all their charts and stuff that I don't know how to read. That has to get turned over to the prosecutor's office, emails and all their communication. So you would think someone from that lab had to have communicated button snap for then. And so this is what I wanted to ask you, because my memory was, I swear I can see like Bill Thompson standing up at the podium talking about the button snap. Am I wrong on that?
I don't think you are. And I've wondered too, Kim. I wonder if somebody just misspoke. Okay. And when they misspoke, it stuck, obviously, because in a case like this, every word that's stated, it becomes God's word. Okay. So if somebody misspoke and at that point, they were stuck with that, is that why he just went with it, or instead of correcting it? Or is it truly, like I said, is this part of their narrative building? You know what I mean?
Yes, that's an explanation, and they're giving lots of explanations for the things that have
They're trying
happened
to,
in this,
right.
but doesn't make it right. And my goodness, with something like your number one piece of evidence in this whole case,
Your own,
like,
in my opinion.
oopsie, I said the wrong word.
And you would imagine that you would want, well, you would think in a right side up world, as Eddie would say, that they would fix something like that. But it's almost like, hey, that worked, let it be. You know what I mean? It's kind of, that's how I see it, at least.
Yeah. Well, chat, let me know if I am crazy. I'm feeling like I'm having one of those moments. What's that called when we remember things a certain way, but then
Deja vu.
we try to know the other one, and they're like, it didn't happen that way.
Oh,
The effect, the something effect.
Yeah, it's called the
What is that?
Mandela effect. Yeah.
Yes, I'm having the Mandela effect, because I feel like it, but when I went back to look at the hearing about the DNA, I did not hear them say the snap. So I'm not,
Maybe today I'll
although
go back
we
and
all
look at
know
that.
we heard it.
Yes.
For sure. I don't know. Did you ever see Audrey C's DNA video about the sheath? That's Glitch DNA Labs.
Oh, no, I haven't got to watch a lot of Glitch yet. I've heard a lot, but I haven't seen. Somebody told me that there is a decent video about that there. So no, I haven't got to see it yet.
I'm gonna pull it up. It's not that long. And now remember, you guys, if you're not familiar with Glitch DNA Labs, she is a process person. Like, her career field is to look at systems, and she can look at any system. If it's like banking, she can look at it through the lens of finance. If it's DNA, she can look at it through the lens of DNA. So that's what she's doing. But her expertise is to say, okay, what should the process be? And was the process flawed, not flawed? Did they follow the process? Things like that. So
she's our DNA channel out here, guys, for sure. And I was actually going to pull her up today during my show too. So let's check it out.
She's got a lot since this one. I gotta find it real quick. It's the only
I've seen
thing I
some of
can
the other stuff,
ready to go.
older stuff she did, and she does a good job. So,
Mm-hmm.
like I said before, it's nice to have these resources out here helping us along with some of these things to be able to understand some of this stuff a lot better, you know?
Yes, she talks about, all the Q 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, 1.4. And I know she made a correction video after this. And the thing that she corrected was it was with something with the Q. As I'm watching, it'll refresh my memory. But when she corrected it, I'm like, well, you kind of basically said the same thing. So to me, it wasn't a major correction.
Right.
Let me see. So yeah, that's it. Okay.
That's not what the lab reports actually say. In the record, this sheath isn't a magic smoking gun.
Start that. Make it bigger.
We're told a simple story. There was a knife sheath next to a victim's body, and his DNA is on the snap. End of story, right? Except that's not what the lab reports actually say. In the record, this sheath isn't a magic smoking gun. It's a cluster of DNA results. On the front strap of the sheath, not the snap, the lab found a clean non-blood profile from an unknown male. They labeled it Q1.1 and called him Male A. That's the one they put in coded. Everywhere else on that sheath, things get messy. The edges of the handle, the edge near the blade, the inside channel, those swabs are mixtures. Multiple people, at least one male in each, often in or near blood. And over the lab writes, low-level results, no comparisons can be made. And it doesn't stop at the sheath. On the stair handrail inside the house, there's a major unknown male and a blood stain on the banister, male B. On 2 different wall swabs, there's an unknown male blood sample on the half wall, male C. Outside in the driveway, there's a glove with blood on the inside and outside, male D. None of these men are the victims. None of them are the named suspect. Most of them.
Am I muted? Okay. So just real quick. Now, I did a whole live about male C. And to me, so she is saying male C is on the half wall.
Mm-hmm.
I did not see that listed as male C, but I'm sure there's a reason why she's interpreting it that way. Because remember,
Yeah.
the way I was reading it is that male C was the one that was found in JD's house.
Mm-hmm.
But then I couldn't see what they were connecting it back to. But it makes sense. Think about that. The unknown males have to be in a mixture that has unknown male DNA in it, right? Let's just use process of elimination and common sense. And those items, those items are the railing and the half wall.
Right.
So yeah, so then what does that mean for it being in JD's house? Because they match.
I mean, that's my thought too. I think the show we did together the other day, which is what this was all about. This is where the confusion comes from for me. It would have to mean that it's the same, right?
Yes, but you guys hear me clearly. It's not Jack D's blood. It was not connected to anybody who lived in his house. It is unknown.
We don't know what it is. That's what the big deal was, guys. Nobody could figure it out.
Nobody knows who it is. It's unknown. But where they found it was in his kitchen and in the hallway into his house.
Yes. And also, real quick, I want to make sure I have this right too. Didn't we read in a report that that same half wall also had a combination of Kaylee and Ethan's blood there too?
I have it all in a chart. I can look as we play
I
this.
thought
but
that's what we had read through one of the reports, and I just want to make sure that, because I've said that in my shows more than once. How did that get there? What was going on? And if we add that to this, I just want to make sure that that's part of it. That's all. So
I want to say, like I said, I'm doing this chart with each item. I want to say that there was a stain on that. There were a lot of stains on that half wall.
oh yeah.
And I think every one of them was associated with at least one of those stains.
Sure. Yes.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. That would make sense. And I know that the reason why I want to clarify this is because that to me means that there was some moving around going on. Okay. There was definitely some transfer, so on and so forth. And can it help to understand? Maybe not. I don't know, but I still want to know. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah, Tomboy just said that Xana's was the only one whose blood wasn't found anywhere else. I think she's right. From my understanding, yes, I think that's correct.
Uh-huh.
And the Beach Babe just said the stains were clean. See, that's what I'm trying to get the understanding of, because, like, for instance, the diluted blood that they found, the drops or whatever you want to call them of Kaylee's on the table. Is it because they were cleaned? Is that why that's there like that? Is that what happened with the half wall? Is that maybe how it got blended and mixed together because they were cleaning things and they transfer? You know what I mean? I don't want to make this super difficult. I'm just, my understanding level of this, I'm trying to come to a level, period.
I'm going to have to go back and look to see which ones were treated with that Amido Black or whatever they used. We know that was at the top of the steps, and that was Kaylee. That was Kaylee's.
Yes. That's another
there.
good question too, Kim. Cocaine. I think I always mess her name up. Good to see you, by the way. But did they test it against Jack D and others? That's something I want to know for a fact. Did they do that? Did they test?
Yeah. Well, we can't tell because everybody they did do that to is redacted.
Yep.
But they're calling it unknown.
Right.
So I guess we just have to trust us.
Yeah, of course. Trust the process, right?
That they did that. So.
That's never gonna happen.
Yeah. All right. Let me finish this.
Never make it into CODIS because the lab calls the profiles partial or not eligible. So step back for a second. In a quadruple homicide with heavy blood and chaos in a small house, what kind of DNA would you expect from the real perpetrator? Almost always blood-based DNA or a blood contact mixture. The kind we see with males B, C, and D. By contrast, male A, the clean non-blood profile on the strap, looks on its face more like background contact, someone who may or may not have handled that sheath at some point in its life. And yet, the public story sounds like this. Police say the sheath must be a part of the crime and held the murder weapon. His DNA was on the sheath. There must not be any other male blood on it. If there was blood, the killer would have wiped it. Here's the problem with the wiping story. If a sheath is truly wiped, after sitting in airborne blood near arterial spray, under a stabbing victim, you don't get a single pristine profile. And nothing else. You get streaks, you get partials, you get cleaner metal, maybe detergent artifacts. You don't get a miracle where all DNA vanishes.
Table and
except one perfect touch profile from a swab on the strap. And then there's the glove. If someone planned this crime, they likely went and wearing gloves. The reports in media talk about the gloves he wore, but the glove in evidence, the one with the unknown male D's blood on the inside and out, is outside in the driveway, exactly where you would expect an exiting offender to ditch it, and it doesn't match the suspect. So we have a sheath that has not been forensically proven to have housed the murder weapon during the killings, a glove that screams offender use with another man's blood inside and out, a house marked by multiple unknown males in blood. Yet, the public story collapses all of those into one line. His DNA is on the sheath. That's not science. That's selection. The trace non-blood strap profile becomes the star. The blood-borne unknown males B, C, and D are treated like technical footnotes. And that selection wouldn't bother me as much if the chosen star, Q1.1, were robust, boring sample, but it isn't. Here's what the lab's own paperwork shows about the Q1.1 extract they built their story on. 11/18/2022. The initial quantitation plate for Q1.1 fails its standards. That doesn't automatically corrupt the extract, but it flags instrument setup problems at the very first step after extraction. That same day, the 3130.
Okay, this is the part that I think she does a correction on. So the way she's describing what happened in the lab may not be exactly the way she's saying it here, but I'm telling you, I listened to her correction and there were still some issues.
Capillary run for Q1.1 through Q1.4 has an internal lane standard failure. The ruler used to size peaks doesn't behave. The first attempt to actually read the DNA is unusable. 11/19/22. A second analyst re-injects the entire plate. From that moment on, Q1.1's good data lives on a salvage run, not a pristine first pass. 3/21/23. They re-extract Q1.1 and spill the lysate. Lost about half the liquid. That screams handling risk and low quantity. It raises basic questions. Did they compare the new profile to the original? Are they truly congruent, or did low template damage shift alleles? Multiple re-injections on later capillary runs as well. Every re-injection is another chance for subtle contamination, plate mix-ups, and pipetting error. And another thing that has to be documented perfectly if we're going to trust the end result. 6/14/23. A report has to be reset because the notes packet was missing the explanation for the sample re-injection. In plain language, remedial work was done first, paperwork to explain it was written months later. And if that were the end, it would already be a fragile story.
That's another issue with almost everything in this case is the late reports written. And that is one thing. Most of you know, some of you might not, but my husband and I make videos together on here, and he's just always thought they had the right person, but there's a couple things that are giving him pause, and he wants to see, the outcome of, and one of them is these reports being written, way later. So that's not a good investigation. So they did it with talking to people, they're canvassing the neighborhood, at the crime scene, the DNA.
But Q1.1 isn't even finished there. Fast forward to late July and early August 2023, 9 months after the murders. On 7/31/23, Q1.1 shows up on a differential extraction worksheet, a workflow usually used in sexual assault kits to separate male and non-male fractions. On 8/1 through 8/2/23, that Q1.1 fraction is run through Plexer. They quantify the total DNA and Y DNA, then dilute it down and set it up to squeeze as much male signal as possible for trial. That's not, do we have any DNA work? That's, how much male DNA can we salvage here? And can we make it look as strong and clean as possible before we put it in front of a jury? It fits with what we've heard elsewhere. The lab director saying YSTR wasn't done because of conservation concerns. Wortham repeatedly confirming that YSTR wasn't feasible with what was available. Q1.1 is a precious low template trace sample being reworked carefully and repeatedly. And over its fragile base, the state builds an octillion level statistic. 5.37 times 10 to the 27th power times more likely if the defendant is the source than if a random unrelated person is the source. 5.37 octillion. Technically, it's a likelihood ratio. It compares two specific hypotheses about who the DNA came from. It does not mean there's a 1 in 5.37 octillion chance he's innocent or this process was flawless. In a sample like this, trace low template re-extracted, still being molded 9 months later, that octillion number becomes a storytelling weapon. It compresses all the fragility of the pipeline into one shiny science number. That sounds impossible to argue with. The number that sits at the end of a pipeline. All the ways trace DNA can wobble. Mixtures, dropout, reinterpretation, run failures, happening at the beginning and middle. Now drop that octillion number into trial strategy. The defense files its expert disclosures on time. The state misses its deadline, sees the defendant's DNA expert list, and only after that responds with more than 10 DNA trace-related experts, many of them to talk about DNA in general, what trace DNA is, how transfer can work in theory, how statistics are calculated in general.
That's another thing they did in everything in this case. And Ann Taylor talks about it in court, actually says it to the judge that the prosecution would not turn over discovery. The defense would meet their discovery deadline. So the prosecution would see what the defense is thinking and like the direction they're headed. And then they would respond to that with their information. So just what Audrey is the creator on this channel. That's her name. Just what she's saying right now.
General, what YSTR would show, even though it wasn't run on Q1.1. On top of all that, the state adds an 11th DNA heavy hitter late in the game, positioned to do what the others don't. Bridge the general lecture about transfer directly onto this sheath narrative. So you end up with a fragile, reworked, low template sample, Q1.1, an octillion level likelihood ratio on top of it, 10 plus experts teaching the jury how powerful DNA can be in theory. One closer.
Those two pictures don't even look the same.
That theory back to the sheath.
Nope.
All in a case with over 51 terabytes of discovery.
Two different sheets
A
that
house
look
full
like.
of blood,
Yeah.
multiple unknown males, a crime scene that simply doesn't match the story of one man, one knife, one trace on the strap.
I'll be right
My
back.
lane
I gotta
isn't
grab
to
coffee.
pronounce guilt
you're
or
good.
innocence. My lane is to keep saying trace DNA is different. Low template mixtures are fragile and interpretation heavy. Inferences should not be sold to juries as if they were hard facts. Right now, Q1.1 is being asked to answer 2 questions. Whose DNA is this? And what happened in that room? When it's barely stable enough to whisper about the first and almost silent about the second, put together, this doesn't prove the extract is wrong, but it absolutely weakens the usual chain of safeguards. Instead of one clean pass, we get a story of we kept having trouble, kept patching, and only later fixed the paperwork. So when the lab says we assume the extract is correct because the final runs passed our internal checks, the record shows those checks repeatedly failed, were salvaged, and then had to be justified after the fact, with extra work being done 9 months later to tease out the mail. In a case like that, the defense has no reason to share the lab's confidence in this extract as a stable, reliable representation of whatever was on that sheath. At that point, the real question isn't, do you believe the sheath story? It's, what are the rules? What do the lab's own protocols say about blood scenes, mixtures, and unknown males? Did they apply those rules equally to male A on the strap and to male B, C, and D in blood? Because if the lab decides to elevate a non-blood strap profile and push multiple unknown male blood profiles to the margins, that isn't just how the evidence shook out. That's a choice. And before we hang an octillion level statistic and a capital case on that choice, we're allowed to ask exactly how that story was built.
All right. Let me see what her correction was. But while I'm looking this up, did you guys know, I just saw this in the forensic reports, they were still calling people in for fingerprints in 2025, like the summer, like before the plea deal, like in June. I don't even understand why. Why would you be doing that? I know there were a couple reports where they were like, we need better fingerprints to make this comparison, but to still be doing that in June of 2025 is wild. And I, again, love how Audrey is making it very clear that she's not here to talk about, Brian's innocent or guilt. She's just going through the process and the protocols, and talking about the ethics. And if you guys were in Lana's show last night, on Truth and Transparency, we were, Dago was up there, I was up there, Jeremy was up there, and Lana was talking about the Luigi Mangione arrest at that McDonald's, and just why they handled that the way they did, and that we need the need for people to just follow the protocols, be transparent, be ethical, do things the right way. That's it. But we all know, if you have a job out there in the world, no matter what career field it is in, you're going to find people that want to take the easy way. It's too much work. I don't want to do that. And when it comes to new technology, I'd rather do it the old way. I know in the career I had, there's people like that. But then that's why we have protocols to follow, so that your boss can make sure that you're following what you're supposed to be doing. All right, I'm looking for her correction because it was only like a minute long. Like, it's real quick. Is this it? 4 minutes? Oh, this is it. Okay. So
I
she's
need to
gonna
correct
clarify
something from my
something here.
previous video. I showed an extraction worksheet and talked about a sample labeled Q1.1 as if it were the Q1.1 sheath extract from case M 2022-4843. That was my mistake.
Right,
On
Fizzy?
that worksheet, the Q1.1 I pointed to actually belongs to a different case number. It's Q1.1 from another case. That just happens to be the same batch. It has nothing to do with the Q1.1 from the sheath in the Idaho 4 case. So, what
Did you guys hear that? So when you're looking at the forensic documents, you have to make sure you're looking at the case number because they grouped some things together, which I don't know, makes me very concerned that you had the most high profile case in the entire country. And that just seems like an unnecessary risk. Why would you have this other DNA from other cases, like laying around doing things at the same time or whatever, because that's what it seems like. So she misread Q1.1 from another case. So she's going to clarify the differences.
this page really shows is something very normal in DNA labs. Multiple cases being extracted in the same batch. Case 4230, case 4843, case 2325, and so on. All run together on the EZ1 sheet. I still believe when we're talking about trace DNA, it matters. Different cases are processed side by side, and it matters how we read this paperwork. But I misattached that specific Q1.1, and I don't want anybody to repeat that same mistake. The takeaway lesson here is actually a good one. Never look at the Q number by itself. Always read the full sample name, case number, plus Q number, because every case has its own Q1.1. I'm leaving the original video up for general education, but this is the corrected reading of that worksheet. And I want to be clear that error is on me, not the lab. Zooming out a bit, the lab's own paperwork also shows failed quant standards and later ILS failures with reruns. That doesn't automatically mean the final profile is wrong, but it does tell us they were working under less than ideal conditions and had to push the system to get there. That's typical of trace DNA. And it's one reason we should be cautious about treating the final profile and statistic as a simple, rock solid smoking gun. The story for the Q1.1 extract actually goes like this under case number M 2022-4843, 11/18/2022. The initial quantitation plate for Q1.1 fails its standards. That doesn't automatically corrupt the extract, but it flags instrument setup problems at the very first step after extraction. That same day, the 3130 capillary run for Q1.1 through Q1.4 has an internal lane standard failure. The ruler used to size peaks doesn't behave. The first attempt to actually read the DNA is unusable. 11/19/22. A second analyst re-injects the entire plate. From that moment on, Q1.1's good data lives on a salvage run, not a pristine first pass. The bigger issue I'm trying to highlight is this. The labeling system is dense and unforgiving. So case numbers and Q numbers can differ by 1 digit. So outsiders and even insiders under pressure can easily misread them. Good labs try to control for that with barcodes, plate maps, and two-person verification. But sample swaps and clerical errors are a known risk category in forensic science. This is why independent review matters. Someone outside the originating lab needs to be able to trace a single item, like Q1.1, from collection through every plate and STR mix run without getting lost in the lookalike labels. This correction is my own misreading of the specific Q1.1. The larger point is still the same. Trace DNA lives in a very technical, very fragile space. The way we label, run, and explain it deserves just as much scrutiny as the headline statistic at the end of the pipeline. You know the one, the 5.37 octillion.
All right. She did a good job there. There were still issues, just not the same exact issues that she originally described. So it's I think they would have went to town questioning that at trial if there could have been a trial. And I have a question that I want to look into. Dago, I don't know if you know if you're there or not, but or chat. There were 3 different mixtures on that. Well, the handrail, the half wall, and 1.4 on the sheath. I'm wondering if it's harder to extract the DNA from the mixture, or is it harder to develop trace DNA? Anybody know the answer to that one? And I want to say hello. Hey, Senor. And I saw Brooke in here earlier. And Brooke, are you somewhere warm? I am so jealous, and I hope you enjoy yourself if you're still listening out there. I was worried about you. I hadn't seen you around. I'm glad you are doing something fun. D. Garrison, hello. Thanks for being here. Tony Stevenson, hello. Bo, let's see. Bo Assange. Did I say that right? I'm not sure how to say that. Becca, hello.
Bo Assange.
You know that name? How do you say it?
I don't think so, but it sounds like it'd be fun to say.
Sometimes if I don't know, I'm just going to read the letters.
Bo
Like
Assange.
that user last night that I'm just going to say JP.
Oh, the yeah. Nobody does it as good as Lee does, but yeah.
That's funny. And hi to Nancy Road. Hi. National agencies orchestrating. Let me see what this says. Why is this not showing? I got to take it down first. Why doesn't it just switch?
Yeah, you got to take one down and put the other up. It's a pain in the booty.
I don't know. This isn't. I'm stuck.
I don't see it on our side, but I see it on the other screen.
What?
That's weird. Isn't that weird?
Whatever. It's stuck. StreamYard's stuck.
No, there. I just refreshed the other side. I see it now.
I thought it was interesting, though. I don't know if you were able to listen about how she brought up ethics, right? Remember we were talking about that last night with the Luigi Mangione. Yeah. It's just so important. And
hi. I think, did she just toss herself out? Hi, guys. Welcome to Kim's show. This is Typically Unique with Dago. Nice to see you. Hope everybody's having a good day. I don't know what just happened. Hang loose, though. Don't nobody go nowhere. She'll be back. There she is.
Can you hear me?
Yes. What happened?
I don't know. I just got kicked out. I hope nothing got flagged.
No, you're good. Nothing showed up here. Nothing showed up bad. No.
Okay. Where can you see that at? In like the back studio or something, like the YouTube?
No, it would have. If you got flagged, it would have popped up and said this video has been something. Oh, gotcha. I did not push her out the window, you guys. She was out on her own. Yes, it's like, I'm tired of this. I'm taking over. Out you go. No, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just StreamYard being StreamYard. Sometimes it'll do that. It's
happened me a couple times. Yep. I have been swabbed.
Yes, Tomboy said it's definitely unique that Dago is now Kim.
Oh, that's funny. Oh,
as soon as you fell out, I said, "Hey guys, welcome to Typically Unique with Dago." And I said, "Don't go nowhere. She'll be right back." Yeah, you gotta watch. StreamYard is a joke sometimes. It's much.
That happened with me and you on Truth and Transparency last night too.
Yes.
Funny. The last thing I wanted to talk about today was so the prosecution has, and I have the clips we can watch if we want to, but I'm sure everybody has seen the courts where um I think it was the one I have is Massif talking about the DNA and wanting the discovery. Okay. And then Jennings gets up and says, "You have everything we have." And then
Right.
she does say that they have a system called PBK.
Yep,
You've heard of that.
I have.
Okay. So I looked it up, and there is a video on YouTube that they just tell what it is. And basically, it's just a dashboard, like an interface
Right.
where now it's for the prosecutors because it stands for prosecutor. I always have to look it up. What's the B? Prosecutor by Carpel is what it's called. And the inventor's name is Carpel. Okay.
Yes.
So prosecutors all over the country use this program. Hey, Brooke, I hope you heard me. I said I've been looking for you, and I am so glad that you are somewhere warm and enjoying yourself. Thank you so much for that. And of course, there we go. That's why it probably wasn't letting me click on the comments, Dago.
What happened?
Remember earlier I said it wouldn't let me put the comments up? I think
Oh.
that's what probably started to kick me out. I
Yeah.
bet. Thank you. Greatly appreciated. And Merry Christmas to you and your family. To everybody out there. Yes, for sure.
So I have, if you don't have anything on the PBK thing, I do. If you want me to throw it up for you, it's up to you.
What do you have?
It's backstage. It's just it just explains
right
what it is. It shows who prosecutor by Carpel, what it means, all that. It's an efficient, time-saving prosecutor case management software. You can book a demo with them if you would like. Why do I feel like Vanna White? It's the judicial system's leading criminal case management software because of its ability to streamline workflows, cut costs, and increase the capabilities and speed of prosecutors. PBK includes efficiency enhancing features and tools that all prosecuting and district attorney offices can benefit from, regardless of their size and workload. It says it boasts several integrated tools that help you to make the most of one of your most vital resources. Information. Our powerful search and e-discovery tools, among others, enable you to better input, archive, search for, retrieve, and report on case information, speeding up your operations and reducing the risk of errors. And it's fully integrated. It says it increases their capabilities, blah, 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 blah. It's a software that they use. I'm not going to read everything, but
no, don't read it because I'm going to show this one thing real quick because
I will take it down.
It is interesting to
yes, ma'am.
Actually hear what they're supposed to do.
Okay, sorry about that. I thought that would
No. That was a great overview. And where am I going? Oh my god!
And I only had this because we had spoke about, and I had heard that talked about, so I hurried up and downloaded it when I heard about it, and there it is. So
yeah, thank you. I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Hey,
Roxy. That's a great statement, Roxy. So essentially, they had the capability to send files over organized. 100% they did, and chose not to do it because they knew what they were doing, in my opinion.
Yes, that is the point of this, because you can have all the most wonderful systems in the world, which is the point about every single case that doesn't make sense, doesn't add up, got the wrong guy. Like, it comes down to the user, right? The people. Like, you have to have trusted, ethical, hardworking, knowledgeable people.
And Ann said herself, Kim, if you remember, she said that it was sent to me so disorganized. And when she said it, she said she had to have time to go through everything. And then it just in my mind, because I'm a visual person, we know that it reminded me of somebody throwing up the deck of cards and playing 52 pickup. That's what she received, how she was receiving it. Nothing was organized, nothing was coming when it was supposed to, and it was just boom. You know what I mean? And it's like, why they did it on purpose, in my opinion, so that she would struggle and take more time, knowing that she was going to ask for a continuance because she wasn't prepared. And here we sit now. This is again my opinion. I'm sorry.
No, you're right. And in that court hearing, they like called out them, or there's a document. They put this in one of their motions. Like, you have this program, you have this system, like, and apparently they said the defense should have access to it. Something I was listening to, but that
Yep.
clearly did not seem to be happening.
Nope.
And why, when I hear them talking about evidence, they seem to be talking about physically walking a flash drive over to the prosecutor's office or putting it in an envelope and delivering it. It shouldn't be that way. You should stay at your office and upload it into this system. So now here's the only like caveat to that, or like thing about that is law enforcement has to have a program also. It's not the same program. They have an evidence collecting program. And a lot of countries use iCrime Fighter, but Moscow does not. They use Spillman. That's what that Spillman thing is.
Yes.
I didn't know that. So they're using Spillman, and it absolutely 100% can integrate with the PBK. They just have to have their tech person do it.
Right.
So what do you want to bet that they did that or didn't do that?
Oh, I'll bet you everything I own that they said, yeah, we'll send it over when we feel like it, and just kind of dawdled around and waited till the last minute and said, oh, you know what, go ahead and send that stuff over to Taylor's office, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
So on and so forth. And they did it on purpose, you guys. I know that sounds conspiratorial. I'm sorry, but there's no reason that Anne had to request as many times as she did for discovery, period. Okay? You think about that and look at other cases we've looked at. Cut and dry, black and white. Like I said, you hit the button. Like Kim just said, you hit the button and poof, it's gone. They didn't do that. Like she said, they're walking flash drives over. I remember watching a body cam where somebody handed Gunderson a flash drive and he went and tossed it on his damn dashboard. That was probably something
yes,
very important. That's not how this is supposed to work. You know what I mean? So yeah, absolutely. This is a great topic today, by the way, Kim. I really, really enjoy this. So
thank you. You said so many things right now. I'm like, yes, good point. I wanted to talk about those. Jennings made it seem like, I agree with you. I think they did it on purpose, because if it's in that system, you will be tracked if you are manipulating it. Like every move you make will be documented in that system.
Bingo.
And we can't have that.
100%. You're on point with that one too. You just hit. I was going to go there, but this is your show. But you hit that nail with the hammer right on the head, because that's exactly what I think it was, is that they know, like you just said, that it would be tracked. Everything they do is going to be tracked in that system, and they know it could be tracked. The defense has the ability to do that, as does everybody in that office and the judge. So they're not going to use that system, in my opinion, because they don't want to be tracked. So, yes.
Yep. And Jen, and I feel like the prosecution did this with most of the discrepancies in this case. It's like, well, we don't know. Like, we can't do that. Like, it's not possible. I have no idea what you're talking about. And she just made it seem like we have that program, but this is what she said. She said, that program's not capable of doing that. Yes, it is. Maybe somebody had to go in and tweak something to make it possible, but it would be possible.
Oh, sounds like she's in the same club as Brett Payne, saying that we can't load that into CODIS because it'll knock the other ones out. You know what I mean? It's just, it's bullshit. Sorry, but it is.
And look how they were allowed to get away with that.
Right. Nobody
Allowed
called
to
them
get
out on it.
away with just an unverified excuse.
These are the things that I'm presenting to the Department of Justice and saying, why is this okay? Why are you not screaming about this? Why are you not even looking at this? Because they did it, in my opinion, through the entire case trial or case plan. Sorry.
Yeah, that would be a good thing. Do you have that to bring up with them? Like these undocumented or unverified excuses that they were getting? Okay, good.
All
That's
sorts of
excellent.
notes. Every day I'm writing notes down on everything I can add. That's why I haven't sent it in yet, because
Yeah.
Lana gave me extra things. You're giving me stuff. I'm just adding as much of this as I can before I send it over and say, here, look at this mess, you know?
Yep. Yeah, that's awesome, because so many things that we talk about in all these shows, there's so many points that are excellent and they get buried in our lives. Not our living lives, the live show.
Right.
And it's hard to go back and find them and remember them. Yeah.
Yes, these are all things I'm adding to the letter I'm sending to the Department of Justice, because these are all things that, in my opinion, caused the issues within the case.
Yeah. So then, and another example was remember when Ann Taylor was asking for the videos and she was like, where is it? And I don't know if it was Payne or who it was, said that she could go meet with the evidence custodian. Remember? Oh, you can go sit down with him and watch 3,000 videos or something. She shouldn't have had to do that if the system was available.
They withheld things. They said they didn't, which in all reality they didn't, but they purposely withheld situational stuff from her. They know she doesn't have time to go sit down with the evidence custodian, like you said, and spend 4 days watching video. Send it to her and let her people go through it like that's what they're supposed to do, but they didn't do it that way. So yes, I agree with you.
I'm wondering if there's like a firewall or like something in that program that, like, yes, the defense can have access, but they would only have access to their part of the portal, where like once the prosecution clicks their button, it goes into their side. So it's not like the defense would have access to the whole entire system, but instead of mailing or meeting up with the defense at the courtroom and saying, here's an envelope full of documents, you just give them access in that system. That's it.
All you have to do. And they absolutely didn't do it. I agree with you. Yeah. I agree with you. They made everything as hard as you could possibly do it to do. You know, if you're going to climb a hill, you take the right, or a mountain, you're gonna take the best and easiest route. They made sure that they had the hardest route to take to do this. So
yep.
And I think Hitler knew about it too, Kim, and I think he allowed for it. That's another issue I have with him. And you saw me going off yesterday. I can't stand him. I know what he's done. It's evident to the world, the things that he said, and just based on the things he said and what we've seen him do, that he was 100% biased in this situation and was not there to help the defense whatsoever.
You know, the Judge Hippler, oh God, what was the Delphi judge's name?
Judge Gall.
Gall. Yeah, I always think of the Wicked Witch of the West when I hear that. Wasn't her last name something?
That's the way to describe her, yes.
And the Karen Reed judge, Bev. They're all aged, experienced judges that I think have gotten away with running things their way for so long and not having the social media presence, watching their every move that is now happening. I just think they've gotten to operate the way that they have for so long without anybody calling them out on it.
Right. I mean, and and Voldemort is very set in his ways. You can tell that he is. He's not going to let anybody tell him that what he's doing is right or wrong. This is my courtroom. You know, I have the wand. You're not going to tell me this or that. It's going to be my way or the highway, like it or not. And that's how he projects himself. Same with Seagull. Same thing. You know, you're absolutely right. They've been there too long. Here's the problem with that though, Kim. They know better. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Because of the length of time they've been there and the seniority they have, they know better. So in turn, you got one and the other at the same time, and neither one of them is okay to me. So
Yep. I was just listening to somebody's video this morning. I can never remember. And they were saying when you have like, you know, the judges like that or law enforcement or wherever, when someone gets away with something, that makes it the new normal.
of course.
So instead of looking at instead of looking at Hitler, like, you know, Hitler and Gall and Bev, they're just doing the normal because it was allowed to happen. So
Yep. I agree with you. Same thing that's going on in Moscow PD. Atlanta hit on it yesterday big time. Training is one of the biggest issues within this. Training is an issue, but here's the problem though. They were all trained, obviously, or they wouldn't be there. They all passed their test and got their license, or they wouldn't be there. The problem is how they were trained in the good old boy, old school situational type stuff is just meant it's always been just okay. Nobody's bothered with it. Nobody's messed with them. It's just same thing like in Letcher County over there. Okay. In Kentucky, same shit. They've never said a word. Everybody just lets them do their jobs. Nobody asks questions. And here we sit. Training is a big problem for this, and it needs to be called out and it needs to be fixed. So I'm sorry I'm talking so much, but like I said, this topic is very interesting to me. So my apologies.
No, you're awesome. You're not talking too much. I agree with you. And it's not only like this was the bane of my existence as an educator. Like, not only was I a teacher in the classroom, but I was hired for about 10 years. I left the classroom and I was like a trainer for teachers.
Yep.
And so teaching them new things, new ways of like the protocols we're talking about, right?
Yep.
In order to get the best results. You can train people all you want, but if you don't have a supervisor, and I was not their supervisor, I was their equal. You have to have a supervisor going around checking, are you doing what you're supposed to be doing?
Yeah.
Are you using the system the way that you're supposed to be using it?
Quality control. Yes,
yeah.
ma'am.
And
that, yeah.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like in fire and EMS, okay, and first responders, you go through an initial training course, just like with Kim as a teacher, you go through college, you get your degree, you do this, but as a firefighter, you go through an initial training course, same with EMS, so on and so forth. But then you have to have in-services, repeated in-services to keep up. CPR changes every year.
We
Learning
do too.
different things with IVs and stuff like that you have to change. It changes up. Things change up month to month sometimes.
Yep.
Medications, all that kind of stuff. There's in-services repeatedly changing and further education.
Like
okay?
CEUs, like continuing education units. Nurses have to do it. Yep. Fire. Does law enforcement?
Yes, they have in services just as much as we do. They have to keep in tune with the I've talked to this about with a couple of my police officer friends, that they have in services all the time, further education and new laws that come out, representing old laws, how you handle certain things. There's actually, and I know I've complained about this, you guys have heard it, and I think it should be a standard thing within law enforcement now, but they have mental health in services to teach police officers how to handle mental health situations, which is a big deal for me because in my opinion, a lot of these situations are based on mental health. And if they were to approach them with this understanding, it would change some things. Okay.
Yeah.
But they don't make it mandatory. That's the problem. You can take this class if you want.
Oh, yeah.
According to my friends, some of this stuff is mandatory, yes, but some of these things are just, well, Wazowski's in here. He probably knows. Some of these things are just like, well, there's something you can do to further your education in law enforcement if you choose. You don't really have to, but I would recommend it, but you don't really have to. You know what I mean? They need to. And nothing, don't get me wrong. I love law enforcement. I come from a law enforcement family. You know that. I think anything that's put out there to a police officer to help them to grow should be taken full advantage of. Just say it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I ate that stuff up. Like I wanted to get better. Like
Yes.
you want to know everything. And hey, Hemisphere, how you doing? All right, let's
Yeah.
watch this real quick.
I know I'm talking too much.
Where is it? No, you're not. No, you're not. No, you're not. Oh, where's there it is. Okay.
Visual representations of these in particular dashboards. Then external dashboards. This is part of the Carpel Foundation. You can have this dashboard for free if you have our software because
Okay. This was just a screenshot, so I'm sorry you don't really need to see it. You need to mostly hear it.
visual representations of these in particular dashboards. Then external dashboards. This is part of the Carpel Foundation. You can have this dashboard for free if you have our software because I already have all the data necessary to produce it. You guys are putting it in there. So
Boom.
put it in there accurately. All right. That's the only way you're going to be able to inform your public accurately is if you put in data accurately. So this is Monterey's. All this data has been embedded well, and I hope you guys make use of it someday. So to recap, how's all this possible? Accurate data entry. How to get accurate data entry? Engage your attorneys to actually putting that data in. All right. Don't just rely on support staff because without it, it's not going to work. And support staff shouldn't be retyping anything an attorney already knows anyway.
All right. So that was the owner talking about, there were a couple things in there that they also can use it for FOIA requests, you guys. It makes, if you have everything in there, it makes FOIA requests so much easier because you don't have to go digging around. It's like right in one spot. It's to help you with the public, right?
Yep.
And he also made a point that he said a lot of time, I think this was in an earlier part of that video, that a lot of times, because you got to get the data in there. He said, you got to put the data in. You got to put the data in. The attorneys, they don't want to do that. That's menial work, right? I'm not doing that. I'm going to have my assistant do it. And he was saying, if you to make the program more secure, ethical, you know, whatever the word is, you should do it yourself. Because if you know what you're doing, you know the information, and if you're putting that on someone else, they can interpret it differently, they can put in different wording, so like to avoid all that. So I mean, it sounds like definitely Moscow was not using it for sure.
God, hell no. I'm surprised they had it. They were probably still using a computer pulled by a horse, the way it looks.
She said at that hearing, Jennings said, we used a handcrafted Excel sheet.
Like I said, pulled by a horse, right? Jesus Christ. See, that's what I'm saying. And you know that was done on purpose because Taylor's office probably looked at this and went, what the hell is this? And you know what I mean? Like, It's just, they do this shit on purpose. I'm telling you, it makes me sick. That's it.
They could have a beautiful dashboard with, like, if any of you have, like, what it reminds me of is like if you've taken an online course and you have to use like Blackboard or one of those, like any kind of like in education, it's a IMS system, I think. In this case, it's called RMS. So same thing. It's a way to, like, you have sections. You put the videos in this section. You put the, body cams in this section.
Very, very well organized. And they absolutely just completely walked around it because they don't want to be, like you said earlier. I believe the least you can be tracked is the best way with them. I'll just put it that way.
Oh, for sure.
Because then you can get away with whatever you want. Push that button and let that screaming start with the dial up and all that. Let's use the old ways. That way they can't track it. You know what I mean?
That's what they still have dial up.
Right. I wouldn't doubt it. To be honest to God, I wouldn't doubt it.
So you brought up that I think it was an SD card, right? At that
Yeah.
1112 house.
Gunderson. Yes.
Okay. Is it Gunderson?
It was. They handed it off to Gunderson, and he was like, "Oh, okay," and tossed it on his dash and walked away. I gotta wonder what happened to that then, and how long did it take them to do anything if they did? You know what I mean? I don't remember exactly what was on it, but yeah.
Jules put out a video, and I don't know if it was this morning or last night, talking about the silent video footage
Okay,
that she
yeah.
got, right? Because I think she got a response from them.
Yep.
And I know she's looking at like the dates that she made a couple points, like the original dates of the footage,
Mhm.
and then how all of the hours she got came in like 5-minute increments.
Yes,
Right.
ma'am.
And then all of a sudden this one comes in one solid
Yep.
form version.
Yep.
So that's odd. So then I'm thinking about the source, okay? And I think she was talking about it too in her video. When we can see these officers, wasn't it Corbett Smith or who went there first? One of
The first officer to respond was Nunez, and then Warner, and then I think Corbin Smith showed up third. I think. Don't
but
quote me.
going to their house, but going to the 1112 house for the
Oh.
body cam.
Oh yeah. That was. I think you're. It was either Snyder or Smith. Yes, you're right.
Okay, yes, because those two, they were kind of out walking around the neighborhood talking to people, right?
I
So
think.
they
Yeah, I
go
think
up to
Wazowski knows. Yeah.
he answered.
I know. I think he knows because he went through those like crazy. He knows. He knows the names of them. He was pointing them out. I think it was.
Okay.
Busy said Snyder, so I knew it was one of the
Snyder
two.
then Gundy. Yeah, because a couple of them go, right?
Mhm. Yep.
They go up to that house and they're looking for the camera.
Right.
They don't really talk to those girls. They
Nope.
don't really ask them, but everybody else in the neighborhood, they do. Hey, were you home last night? What were you doing last night? I don't remember if I heard them asking those questions of those people in that house.
Mm-hmm.
That's weird to me.
It's
That's
very weird. Yes.
And then they ask for the SD card. They get it immediately. They get it on November 13th, right? And they throw it in their car.
Yep.
That's not protocol for collecting evidence.
No, and all he had to do was walk to the back of his vehicle, lift the hatch, pull out one of them little drawers, and throw it into one of his bags or his little envelopes. Write down there what it was, seal it, and put it back in the vehicle. That's protocol, okay?
Yes.
At least from what I've seen, and I don't know, Wazowski could probably verify as a police officer, but that's my thought. That's all you got to do. It takes an extra 5 seconds to do that, Gundy. Why didn't you do that? Open the door, toss, and walk away is not protocol. You're right.
Yeah. So Senor says they go up and ask, who called us? Did someone call PD? And the girls are like, no.
Right. And Wazowski just said it. You hear Gunderson say it's little, I might fucking lose it. So, I mean, here's the problem, guys. Just one more problem.
And this might seem small when you're buried in all this craziness that Ann Taylor was in. But why is there confusion about if the girls called saying, hey, we have a video, or if the cops called saying or asked, do you have a video? Like, why can't that be transparent? Why does there have to be confusion around that? Because they're asking the girls, hey, did you call us? Oh, no, we didn't call you, and then for them to say we couldn't get the SD card to work. What? I want that. I want to see how that happened.
So do I. Just as much as the light bulb cam. You remember that when we talked about that it took them 17 days. I figured out they didn't write that in, but I timed it 17 days to get anything from that because they were having problems with it. And all you have to do is plug it in.
I don't even know. I don't use that type of camera. But if you took my camera, that just does the recording. The information goes through a cloud and it's either on my phone or it's on an SD card. So
Yeah.
I don't even understand what taking the actual camera, it's going to show you nothing. Do they think we're
then-
dumb?
Yeah, and then they broke it. Then they broke it.
But
Come on.
but you guys hear that? The information is not on the camera.
No, you could just access the site. And after all the problems they had, they go to the owner and she sends it from her phone.
Right. They relied on her. Now, the only thing I can justify is like because it was immediate, like that morning. And she's like, hey, I saw a guy at the dumpster. And on my phone, mine only gets sets off by motion. So I don't know how theirs is continuous. So I don't know how that works.
Right.
And maybe that makes it different, but I can immediately with 2 clicks see, oh, there's someone at the dumpster. Click for send and click who I want it to go to. And boom, they've got it on their phone. So I could see them doing that for that because that seems really important. But
yeah, but all they had to do, Kim, in my opinion, was ask her what site, what company do you use? What's the app? Type it in online, go to the app, get the password, get into it, and boom, you're there. And instead, they had all these other issues with it, and it got broken because they physically removed it, did this. And I'm telling you, Fizzy just said it. I think they were trying to destroy it, Kim. I do.
Yeah, they were hiding something. Definitely the sound. Why the sound from that part? Now, you want to know what the people on, so, TikTok has made this like 180 because there's a certain person on there now. And all the creators on there want to keep their channels. So they're all like guilty, 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 guilty. Their reason, I was talking to Carlos about this, their reason for why they took the audio out of the 12 to 2:30 time is because everybody that FOIA'd it and it got out, we abused it and we doxed everybody. That's their reason. That's what they're spreading over there on other social media. That so we're getting punished now when they're giving out the midnight to 2:30. We're not allowed to have the audio because we abused the. I'm like, that is the most ridiculous thing.
Wow.
And here was my rebuttal to that. When Jules made that FOIA request, she was supposed to get everything all at once.
Mm-hmm.
So there should be no redacting anything. You should have given everything all at once, and it should all look the same.
Absolutely. They wrote in the file that they sent her that it's redacted. Why is it redacted?
Mm-hmm.
Were you going to redact it when you showed it in court? No. Then why? And the case is over now. So why are you redacting it now? That's bullshit. I'm sorry.
Someone made a funny comment somewhere, and they said, "Are people running around screaming their social security numbers?"
Right. That. I love that. That's great. I mean, it's stupid. It's an excuse, you guys. It's an excuse. I'm not falling for it. I don't believe it. It's fully, in my opinion, that is an excuse. It's the only thing they can come up with to find a reason to not do it, to redact everything, and that they're doing.
Yeah.
Well, how are we going to keep this from everybody? How are we going to do this? What are we going to do, guys? I don't know. What do you think, Hip? What do you think? I don't know, Bill. What are we going to do? Let's go play a round of golf, have a couple drinks. We'll come up with it. Oh, you know what? Let's make it about the people. Make sure that we don't want to get anybody's info out there. That way they'll love us when we're done. Shut up.
Yeah.
I know that was dramatic. I'm just saying.
You can make redactions, like I think it was Fizzy that said in that, like redact license plates. If you have to blur somebody's face, fine, but maybe we don't know who said it, but we should be able to know what was said because we're good enough. We'll figure it out anyways, right? People on these apps will figure stuff, or addresses, right? Addresses of houses.
Yeah, especially Moscow. Their redacting is a joke. I mean, they'll put the black line over, they'll put the L and then everything else and then leave the last letter in the first letter. Like, we can't figure that out. Go
I
sit down.
know. I
Get a
know.
new job. You're not good at this.
But I think when we're asking for that, well, us as a through you and Lee and everybody that's putting in the written request for an investigation, this could be its own little like line item. Like, someone look into this. What happened with this video footage? What happened with the collecting of it? Why didn't that SD card go into an evidence bag? And why did it take what, how many days you said? Like
17 days for that camera. Yeah.
Wow.
That's what they told us. It could have been more, it could have been less, but they put the dates in there and it equaled 17 days. And I said, there is no reason. And honestly, if you remember, Olivia Goncalves told us she had that information the next day.
Yes.
Okay. What police academy did you go to, Olivia? Because that's pretty good, you know? Just saying. That's ridiculous.
Well, did they give that SD card back to that house? I heard that. And that must have been Jules' video when I was listening to it.
They had to replace it. They had to replace the whole camera, remember?
But I heard that they gave the SD card back to the people, and it just made me think, how many pieces of evidence did they give back? Like the jacket, right? They gave the jacket to Dylan. And then, oh, oops, we need that. Give it back.
Right. 24 hours later after she already did what she had to do with it. Yeah, agreed.
And I don't know if they did or did not with the SD card, but maybe that's something to be on the lookout for.
That's actually a really good question, Kim. That's, in fact, another note.
The SD card was reported as given back. Witchy was. Hey, Witchy, how are you?
Witchy's mad at me because I keep calling Officer Nunez and not Nunes.
I know, I got corrected on that too.
I know. I love Witchy. I'll let Witchy yell at me because I love Witchy. She's awesome. It's okay. You can yell at me anytime you want.
That's okay. I was calling Emily Arndt, and I must have like somebody so bad. And I'm like, I had one of those freeze moments when I was reading the docs and her name came up, and I was like, because it's redacted. It's not like I'm reading, it's redacted, so you have to recall.
Yeah.
And I knew it started with I can see the A, and I was like, oh my God, how do you say it? How was that word?
Yeah.
I will never mispronounce that again. That's funny.
Gotcha. No, I was just teasing. I was teasing you, Witchy. I know.
I'm gonna end this with this one little clip that I had a thought about, kind of changing gears a little bit, but it's another narrative that we've had in this case, and that is with the DoorDash driver. Right?
Okay. Mr. Gower himself, the pervert. Yes.
No, Molly.
Or DoorDash, you said. And I'm sorry. I'm thinking, Steve. Anyway, I'm sorry. Yes.
With Molly, we were told she delivered the food and he parked behind her and she saw him.
Then she changed that.
Does she ever say that in her interviews?
No. No, that came from PD, from my understanding. And that's a good point you bring it up. Says, here's my question. How did they see him parked behind her?
Yeah.
What camera showed that one?
Was that she told them that.
Yep. That came from Payne. That was another creative writing journey he was on, I guess, whatever.
But just to be clear, and I'll go back myself and listen to all of her interviews, but I did watch them in other people's shows, and I just don't ever remember her saying that she saw Brian. She definitely didn't say she saw Brian, and I don't even remember her mentioning a car pulling behind her or beside her. The only one she mentions is the tan sedan with the short, red, spiky-haired guy.
That's it. Yes, and you're right. I don't remember because I remember when I heard that I went and looked for it too. And no, there's nothing that she said anywhere that I can find.
So that's another narrative that they went out to the media with and spewed it all over the place.
Exactly.
And then after the plea deal, we had all these documents and we're like, what? What?
Yes. Yes.
Short, spiky hair guy. What?
Exactly. That, like I said, if nothing else, Brett Payne could be one hell of a writer, because he's taken all these creative writing courses and put out these amazing narratives that they've come up with. That, yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. Maybe that's what he's doing there now.
Yeah, I know when they get on the stand. Hey, Carly, thank you, Kimothy. That's my daughter, you guys.
Well, hello, Miss Unique's daughter. Nice to meet you. I love that she called you Kimothy. That's cute.
Yeah. Thanks, Carly. I hope you're having a good day.
Can I start calling you that too? I'm just kidding. I think it's cool though.
Oh, we got to do fireworks for that. Sorry.
Uh-oh. Does that? How do you do that? I thought that only happened when there was a goal hit.
I made my own little video and just uploaded it as a video.
That's very cool. Good job.
Thank you. What did I just do here? I can't see the. Oh wait, there they are. Okay. Thank you. Yeah, I've been trying to make some little like clips that I put in there.
That's
Okay.
great.
Yeah, I'm gonna wrap this up, but let me just show you this real quick because I was like, I think I know what happened here. I did it again.
Oh, here we go. There we go.
Yeah.
You guys, come on. You still, I just looked at this.
What happened?
138 of you guys in here. There's still only 87 likes. What are you guys doing? Hit the like button, please, at least so she can get this in the algorithm. Just one time. That's all you got to do.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Is it this one? It is not that one. It's this one. Here we go. Okay. I'm going to speed it up a little bit.
Oh, we are at 100 now. Sorry. Okay, good.
Thanks,
Good job.
everybody. Thank you.
Yes, you guys are awesome.
I love you guys. Thanks, Dago, for doing that.
Oh,
Okay, so this is Payne pulling Molly over, and I know we've all seen this, but I just wanted to watch it because I have a thought about it.
absolutely.
His sound's going to
Edward 29.
speed it up.
Good evening.
Hi, yeah, my headlights out. I'm actually trying to earn money to go.
Gotcha. Alrighty. Yep, no big deal. I'm Corporal Payne. That's why I stopped you guys. All right, where are you guys headed this evening?
We don't need to see anything else. I'm Corporal Payne, and that's why I stopped you this evening.
Back up just a tinge. I thought the same thing at first. She knows why he stopped her. She says it to him. That's what he's saying. I thought the exact same thing.
She does start, oh, my lights out, blah, blah, blah. I'll listen to it again, but he still says it.
Oh, no, it does. He does. And it sounds like he's saying, I'm Corporal Payne, and that's why I stopped you. That's what I thought right out of the gate, but it was for the headlight thing. But still, the fact that he said it, yes, you're right.
There's also something I read. I have to go back and flush this out because sometimes, I watch everybody's amazing videos and lives and it sparks something. And I'm like, oh, let me go find that. And then I got to start writing down the original source of that. So I know where to go back to. But to go with this, there was something was said or I read where everything about Molly was happening that did not include Payne. So I don't know if it was the pullovers or if it was whatever was going on, but he had not really met her yet or was involved with anything with her yet.
Okay, gotcha.
And so to me, I'm like, oh, he has now come across her name because of like her, Like whoever she was working with, if she was an informant or the street cops, that the patrolmen that were always pulling her over, they
So,
knew of her.
yeah, Jordan and
I
all
don't
them.
think he found out about her until the their, what's that called, geofencing data. Isn't that how they found her?
The trap and trace thing. Yeah, right.
So then I think he's like, okay, I need to talk to this woman. So, and it, to me, this is all my theory and speculation, you
No,
guys.
you're making sense. I know where you're at now. Yeah,
I
it
can be
makes
a
sense.
million times wrong, but this is my thought process. It seems to me that they do a lot of communicating with people that they pull over.
Yep.
And so by him saying that, I was just like, he need to be one-on-one with her. And if she's an informant, they can't say, hey, Molly, come on down to the station so I can meet with you.
No, that was basically like, we need to meet. Hi, I'm Corporal Payne. You know, like, yeah. I got
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, that's just what I
makes sense.
think, because they can't be seen, hey, let's meet up at McDonald's or meet up at the Walmart parking lot, because if someone sees her,
Yep.
she's going to be in trouble.
Yeah, and just like that statement, you know, I'm Bill Thompson's my friend. They probably said, stop saying that. You can't be putting that out there like that. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I agree with you wholeheartedly. That does make perfect sense.
Yep. All right. Well, that is all I wanted to talk about today with Idaho 4. But these narratives, you guys, this is like, you could just put narratives as the umbrella and hit all the stuff they told us.
Very
Standing,
good.
you know, in their
Very good topic.
interviews, on TV, and now we know it all wasn't true.
Thank you. Yes, this was an amazing topic today. I'm really grateful you did this. That's why I started talking so much. It got me excited, you know, because I have a lot of thoughts on it. Truly did. You always have great shows. I love it.
I appreciate that. No, but thank you for coming up, because it's better to talk to, you know, have a conversation about it.
Yeah, well, just like you say, I do for you. When you come over here and do it for me, you bring things out of me to talk about, and it sparks the things, and the same thing. It works we bounce off each other well. I'll just put it that way.
Yes. Thank you. I appreciate you.
As I do you, I promise you.
And you're going live in a little bit, you said?
Yeah, as soon as we're done here, I'm gonna go finish setting up, and I'll be live shortly here. Yes.
Yep, I am going to be on. Just for anybody who wants to stay, I'm going to show this gingerbread making thing. I have a little Christmas crafty thing, but I'll see you over on your show. But thank you so much for all your support you've given me, and just always rooting me on, and
absolutely
putting me as a mod over on your show. And yeah,
yes,
awesome.
I appreciate you more than you know. And like I said, as today as well, you're more than welcome to join me, because I will put that out there for you to be able to. I always love when you do. And I think you're doing amazing things, Kim. And again, it doesn't mean anything. I'm very proud of what you have become as a creator out here. I think you're doing amazing. And I hope you keep going forward and doing the best that you're doing. So
that means a lot to me. Thank you so much. I couldn't have done it without you, though. That's for sure. So thank you.
I'm sure. You are so very welcome.
Lots of creators, lots of support out there, like Outcast supporting me. Like it's been wonderful. I love everybody, this community. Lana coming over here, that is like, when I was on her show yesterday, I told Carlos, I'm like, it was almost like a bucket list.
Yes, I know. I could tell in your tone when you popped up there. You were like, I'm here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's awesome. I'm glad you got to go up there too.
I was fangirling a little bit. Yes, I was. I'm not too proud to say that.
To you and all that stuff. She told me that herself. She loves the stuff you do. So you're doing great. I'm telling you.
Oh, thanks. All right. Well, I'll let you go and get ready. And thanks again. And yeah, Merry Christmas.
You as well.
But chat, don't leave me yet.
All right, guys. Yeah, hang out, guys. It's going to take me time anyway. But thanks for having me, Kim. As always, very much appreciated. I'm going to go set up, and hopefully I'll see you here soon.
I'll see you over there. Yep.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye. All right, everybody. So Lana was here earlier, Brooke. I was like, she came in, she gave a generous donation. Like, I just love her. And I've watched her for so long and just love her channel, respect her. And she had an open panel last night and I was hesitant about going up, but she was very welcoming and had a great topic. And I probably had a little bit more courage because Dago was up there too. But yeah, that was awesome. All right. So if any of you have kids, grandkids, or you just want to do this, I'm telling you, do this yourself. I would do it with my classes. And let me know in the chat, have you ever used graham crackers to make a gingerbread house? Oh, my little tree right there. Thank you. Thank you. That used to be my classroom tree. It's one of the things I saved for home. But I'm just going to share this with you real quick. Let's see. It's in I have a playlist for it. Let me find it. Not that. Whoops. It's going to take me just a minute. And I know Dago was not, he said it was going to take him a few minutes to get set up, but I know I will see you all over there too. My playlists. You guys want to talk, you know how we talk about like when criminals get caught and they look at their phone data and their phone history? My playlist history would get me in so much trouble. All right. To wrap up this Christmas episode, let's look at this super easy. This craft, you just need a box of graham crackers, some powdered sugar and water, and candies to decorate with. StreamYard. Hold on a second, you guys. I have to stop and do it all over again. Anybody traveling for the holidays? We have never traveled, but now we are traveling after the holidays to go see my sister. Not very far, few hours, but okay.
Make a base, a solid structure that you can use so you can make your own gingerbread house any way you so choose. I'm going to show you how to cut the graham crackers so you get nice clean cuts. I'm going to show you how to make royal icing that you can use to glue these pieces together. And then we're going to glue everything together. So without further ado, let's get started. All right, so to get started, I'm going to take 7 full-size graham cracker sheets. You're going to need 7 for this whole house. The first sheet, I'm simply going to break that in half, and these are going to be the 2 sides for our little house. For the front and back, I'm going to take another full sheet, and I'm going to put that perpendicular to the sides that I just broke in half, and I'm going to cut a 45-degree angle starting at the top corner.
Yes, these would be edible. And there's different options of what you can use for icing. Royal icing is like the best, the one that dries like cement. I'm pretty sure, because I wanted to keep it simple for my classroom and I did not want to put raw eggs in icing with children at school. So I'm pretty sure I used powdered sugar and water. I might have put a little bit of cream of tartar in it because it's kind of like the same thing, but it hardened right up. Like I would just put it in a baggie, cut the tip off. I gave every kid their own little baggie and let them go to town. And they just used it like glue, just like glue.
Of the side and going exactly 45 degrees across that sheet. Now I'm going to use a serrated knife here, and I'm actually going to very gently saw back and forth. I'm going to create a score line that we can then break on, but you want to use a serrated knife so it acts like a saw blade and cuts through the graham cracker. I'm going to score that, Then I'm just going to break that along the score line, and you can see how clean and nice that break is. Now for the other angled side of the top of our house, again, line it up with the side, make another 45-degree angle
You
cut
can
here.
seriously do this with a
Score it a little
plastic
bit,
knife.
and then
That's
break
what
it
we use,
off.
plastic knife, because you just saw. You
Those
do
two
it like a
pieces there that
saw.
I just cut off, you want to go ahead and dispose of those. You might need them a little bit later, but I'll get to that when we get there. Now these scored lines are going to be a little rough, so I'm just
You
going
don't
to
have
take
to
my
worry
knife
about that.
and kind of
Just
smooth
fill it in
out
with the glue.
these edges here that I just cut. And there is the front of our little gingerbread house. For the back, you're going to do the exact same thing. Line up your sides, make a 45-degree angle cut, score it, then break it off. Do just like you did for the first or for the front piece.
Post the link for this too.
And then when you get that one done, you'll have the front and back and the two sides done. That's your basic house right there. So you can go ahead and set these pieces off to the side. And now I'm going to work on the roof. I'm going to need 2 roof sections. Now a full sheet of graham cracker here is too long. So I'm actually going to cut off about 1/4 of the graham cracker sheet. Again, just saw back and forth and score that line and break it off. You want to make sure that both halves of your roof are the same length. So line up your second half with the first one you just cut. And this will leave a nice little overhang on both the front and back of our house.
Do this. I would make my students do their own. And I did this with second graders and
Again, you want to clean up those cuts a little bit, make them nice and square. And then you can go ahead and set these off to the side. And we are done with all the pieces, all the cutting of our graham crackers for the gingerbread house. Now for the royal icing, I'm going to make up for this to glue this together. It's just going to be powdered sugar and water. Traditional royal icing has egg whites and cream of tartar in it, or meringue powder. That does not work for me putting together gingerbread houses. I like making a firm glue. So I've got maybe, I don't know, 1/4 cup or so of powdered.
I'm telling you, this is where I got it from. Just powdered sugar and water. It is like glue, and it does harden very quickly because I didn't have that much time with my students.
Sugar in here, and I'm going to slowly start adding a little bit of water to this to make a glue, if you will. You want your icing to be thick. You don't want it thin because it's just going to run all over the place. Gravity is not going to be your friend with this, so you want it thick enough that it stands on its own. So just slowly start adding water to this in little increment amounts until you get a nice firm icing, and it's going to dry hard for it.
So I'm going to skip.
And then you want to go ahead and seal that up, get all the. So the last 2 full sheets of graham crackers here, I'm going to use. These are going to be the base of our graham cracker house. All I'm going to do is glue these together using my royal icing here. I'm going to lay a bead of icing all the way down one long edge of that graham cracker. And I'm just going to push this together along the edge of the other graham cracker. And this is going to glue these 2 pieces together. This is going to be the foundation of our house.
I would
to make this a little bit stronger, I'm going to take the royal icing and make a zigzag line across that seam. And then I'm just going to use my finger and smooth that out.
You're going to make a
and this is going to make sure that our foundation is nice and strong.
Florida.
Now, to assemble our house, what you want to do is take one of your end pieces and you want to lay a line of frosting or icing here along the inside edge. And you want to place one of your edges or sides of your house.
Your family and have a competition.
Right on that icing. Now you want to make sure that you use plenty of icing here, not so much that it runs out everywhere, but you want to use a hefty amount, and that will keep your house nice and secure. If you want to, you can go ahead and lay an extra bead of icing along the back edge, just to, make sure that this is nice and secure. It's not really necessary, but if you want to do that, you can go ahead and do that. Now you might have to let this sit here for about 30 seconds before you move on to the other side. Since I've got 2 hands, I can use, do both sides. When you're building it, but holding it there for about 30 seconds or so is usually enough to let it firm up enough that these pieces will stay in place. Now you want to lay a bead of icing on the two ends. Again, making sure that you use plenty of icing here, not enough that it squeezes out, but you don't want a dry joint here because that's going to be really weak. And then lay another end piece right on top. Press it down securely so it, makes a nice firm bond, but not so much that you crush your little house. It's very unstable right now, so be careful with it when you're pressing the pieces together. Now you want to let this sit here for a minute or two just to kind of firm up a little bit before you put it upright. And then you want to let this dry for about 10 minutes before you move on to the roof pieces. After about 10 minutes or so, you can go ahead and handle your house a little bit. Still be careful with it, but it's, the icing is firm enough that you can kind of handle the house now. You want to pipe out a little bit of icing on your finger here. Make sure that there's no dry icing on the tip of your bag before you start piping out this line of icing for the roof. I'm going to put this icing on the house, and I'm only going to do one side here at a time. You're going to go down one edge of the roof, along the top of the wall side, and up along the other side of the roof. I'm going to turn my house upside down and place this onto the roof section. And this way you have the weight of the house pressing down on that seam or on that joint that you're gluing. You want to press that down firmly, and your house should stay in this position. If it doesn't by chance, you can use those pieces that you cut off earlier and kind of prop those up. That'll prop the house up so that the house doesn't fall over when it's drying. But you want to set this off to the side for a couple minutes, let this dry up, and then you can move on to the other half of the roof. Again, just lay your line of icing down one roof part across the wall and up the other roof, and then go ahead and place your other roof section on there, making sure to line up the top edge, the hip of the roof, if you will. Press this down gently so it adheres nice and well. If you need to, go ahead and use those two triangle pieces again to prop this up to let it dry. You want to go ahead and let this dry for a few minutes again before you turn the house upright again. Now, once that's dry, you can go ahead and remove your little braces here, and now you can seal up that hip roof. You can see how it's open right there. The reason I didn't put any icing in there before is because it has a tendency to run out and then it glues itself onto the surface that you're working on. So I like to tip it upright and then put the icing in there. Just run a zigzag line along here, make sure that there's plenty of icing in there, and then smooth that out with your finger, and that'll glue those two roof pieces together. Your house down onto its foundation.
All right, there you have it. If you just
I don't like sticking it right in the middle.
Yeah, he doesn't put it right in the middle. He puts it off to the bottom corner. And I always did it that way because it gave everybody more of like a yard area to work with. And you can build little marshmallow snowmen or something.
I like to have, a front yard and a side yard here. So I'm putting it off onto a back corner. Go ahead and press that down gently. And then using the remaining icing that you have, for a gingerbread house. Make up a bunch of these and have a gingerbread decoration.
There you go. He shows you a decorated one there with the pretzels and stuff. So have fun with that, everybody. I hope that that's something you might try out. Why does this guy's voice sound so familiar? Yeah. Does sound familiar. All right. Well, I have some last minute items to go grab from the grocery store. I don't know about you guys. And so I'm going to do that so I can get back, and I'll be listening to Dago while I am doing that. But today is definitely get my house ready, and tomorrow all I do is cook, and then I have a few family members that come over, and we've always done Christmas Eve with Carlos's family. And then it's just us here at home on Christmas Day. So, when you do this with your 3-year-old grandson, it doesn't look like that. Try the powdered sugar and water. Maybe if you guys haven't tried that, that might make the difference. Yeah, and you gotta let them sit for not too long, like, you know, an hour, maybe not even half hour. It'll probably dry right up. Yep. Thank you all so much for joining me today and sharing all of your comments and thoughts in the chat. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week. I will post a notification if Carlos and I decide to do a live together Friday or not. If not, I will see you back here after the first of the year. So Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, everybody. Happy holidays to those of you that don't celebrate Christmas. I'll see you guys back here on the next one. Bye, everybody.
Thanks for watching, hope you felt the spark. Please hit that like before it gets dark. Subscribe, it's free and keeps us going strong. You're part of the crew now, right where you belong. Join us next time, same truth, same fire. We bring the heat and never tire. We're typically unique and proud to be a husband and wife in podcast harmony. That could be unique, yeah, that's you and me. Don't forget to like and hit subscribe, it's free. Come back again, we'll be right here with truth and laughs and zero fear. We don't always agree, but that's the show. One love, two minds, letting it flow. We dig deep with crack jokes, we call it like we see. If that's your vibe, you belong here with me. We don't always agree, but that's the show. One love, two minds, letting it flow. We dig deep with crack jokes, we call it like we see. If that's your vibe, you belong here with me. We don't always agree, but you felt the spark. Please hit that like before it gets dark. We dig deep with crack jokes, we call it like we see. If that's your vibe, you belong here with me. Thanks for watching, hope you felt the spark. Please hit that like before it gets dark. Please hit that like before it gets dark. It's free, it keeps us going strong. You're part of the crew, now right where you belong. Join us next time, same truth, same fire. We bring the heat and never tire. We're typically unique and proud to be a husband and wife and proud to be a husband and wife in podcast harmony. Yeah, that's you and me. That's you and me. Don't forget to like, hit subscribe, it's free. Come back again, we'll be right here with truth and laughs and zero fear.